What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? What's up, my lifers? I hope everybody had an amazing day. I hope everyone had an amazing day. Hold on one second. All right. How has everybody been? Let's see who is here already. I know we'll have some people pouring in like it always does. We always get in here a little bit late. What's up, Great Dane? And our amazing mod, Seventh Heaven, the moderator formerly known as Deidre. What's going on, Daniel Brown? Good to see you, my brother. Great Dane says, can you do a show on the best things about awakening, i.e. being able to celebrate your B-Day or Christmas or sleeping in on Saturdays? Oh, it might be a good topic. I'll consider that one. Might be a good topic. We'll consider that one. We will consider that one. Thank you, Great Dane. So, surprisingly, today was a pretty chilled out day. I don't think I have any amazing stories. Nothing really amazing happened today. I did a little spring cleaning and cleaned out about 10 years of relationship from my house. I mean, we never lived together, but I mean, like 10 years of cards and I kept every card that I ever received, so I threw them all away today. And I had a watch, nice watch, threw that bitch in the trash. It's like a throw blanket that I had, and I was like, yeah, I don't want that shit anymore. I threw that shit in the garbage. It's a little neck pillow that she left here. Threw that shit in the garbage. Headband. Threw that shit in the garbage. A pair of panties. Threw that shit in the garbage. Some sandals. And I hate flip-flops. But she got them for me as a gift for some reason. I threw those shits in the garbage. And then there was a pair of Adidas, high-top Adidas. And I really loved them shoes. But then every time I put them on, it made me think about her. So today, I threw them shits in the garbage. Just deleted all the pictures. I just pretty much just wiped that whole era of my life away. And so now it's time to start a whole new chapter. So that was an exciting thing today. Deidre said panties, those were left on purpose. Yeah, well, I purposefully threw them hoes in the trash. And so that was exciting and liberating. It was something I've been meaning to do for a while. But today was the day. Today was the day. Today was the day. So, yes, my house has nothing in it that reminds me of anything other than me. So it's time for a whole new start. That's what all these 999s I've been seeing here recently mean. Everywhere I go, I've been seeing the numbers 999, and that is supposed to mean a new beginning. So, I just came home and said, you know what? I need to get rid of all of that shit and get it out of here. So, yeah, man, that was fun. Um, Something really weird happened with my father too. I think I may have mentioned this yesterday, but it was still on my heart. So I'm gonna talk about it one more again before we start our conversation today. But I told you guys that I messaged my father and I asked him to stop lying and saying that the reason he wasn't speaking to me was because me and my mother didn't get along, and that was a complete lie. And so I told him the reason that we aren't speaking is because my ex-wife sent you. Seventh Heaven says, did you know that cleaning out the house of past girlfriends does makes room for another love to enter? It makes it's gonna make room for somebody to enter my heart, but not my damn house. Uh, but you're right. Sometimes you hold out hope for things, and then at a certain point, you have to say, you know what? Let me really examine this situation because the universe is probably telling you that door closed for a reason. And there's no need to go back or try to go back or dwell on the past. It's just time to move on. And that is something that I think seeing those numbers 999 deals with me in that situation and in the situation with my parents, because I'm not I really can't believe the way my parents are. They're really ridiculous people. And after I told my father, I said, please stop. Please don't lie like that. The reason we're not speaking is because of what my ex-wife did when she showed you my YouTube channel. And you guys are unwilling to speak to me now because of that. And she only did that because she wants me back, and I don't want her. I said, so I still love you both, but please don't do that again. Love you all so much. Talk to you soon. So yesterday, when me and my aunt were talking, my aunt told me that my ex-wife was picking up my parents to take them to the meeting. So I was thinking, this is my father that was telling me how much he loved me and how much he wanted to associate with me and how we were going to have lunch and how he was going to call me. And then I tell him, my ex-wife did that because she wants to split us up because she's upset that I don't want to be with her. And then the next thing I hear, because he doesn't even reply to that text, the next thing I hear is, oh yeah, she's picking us up to take us to the meeting. I told my aunt, I said, I am through with that motherfucker. At this point, I am done with him because he has made his choice. I told him what was going on, and he made a conscious decision to say, I don't want to speak to my son, but I will still associate with the woman that split me up from my son. I said, I am done with that dude. That dude can kick rocks. And I don't even feel bad. I don't feel sad. I don't feel nothing. That door is closed. That door is closed, like Seventh Heaven said. That door closed, another one opens to someone else. Sorry, go on. And that is true. That is true. But yeah, man, I cleaned out the house. That was a nice watch too. I really like that watch, but I don't want anything that reminds me of her in this house. Get that shit out of here. What's going on, KB? What's going on, Alicia Howard? What's going on, Aramis? What's going on, Terry Baker? Good to see you all in here. What's up, Wendy Seeley? Good to see you in here as well. Willow to the B. What's up, Kai Nazgul? I ditched my parents under similar circumstances 9 years ago, and to this day I count. What's up, Angela Green? How are you? Alicia Howard says, love your platform. Well, the platform loves you too, Alicia. Thank you so much for that nice statement. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you for coming in all the time. I see you in here a lot. If you guys could, please like the video as you come into the room so that we can let YouTube run its little algorithm to get more and more people in here, so we can have even more people to talk to and call in and chat with. And make sure you guys call in. The calls have been really good here lately. I think I got the unknown number blocked. I think we're okay for now. So please call in tonight, guys. Of course, the call-in number is 615-412-9335. I'll put that on the screen. 615-412-9335. Kai Nazgul says that was my best life decision so far. Hey, I get it, man. Sometimes you have to make a decision to just do something. My dumb ass mom won't even let my aunt in her car because she doesn't want any woman other than her to be in her fucking car. But my aunt is so nice. My aunt is offering to pick her ass up and take her to the store in the morning. And I told my aunt, you need to let her ass stay in the house and let her ass catch a Uber to the damn store. I said, the reason they treat us like shit is because we're always being nice to them. I said, they need to miss our asses for a little while. I said, how about you just let her ass walk to goddamn Publix in the morning and see how that shit is. And my aunt said, you know what? She really could if she knew how to act. She could just call her son and say, son, I need to go to the store. Can you run me to the store? Which I completely would if my mother was in her right mind. But I said, I am done. Seventh Heaven says, wow, seriously, she won't let another woman. No, she will not. But my aunt is nice enough to let her in her truck. And I was like, wow. I said, Aunt Renee, you are better than me. My aunt is the bee's knees. She is the business. Yeah, my mom's a jerk, man. She's a jerk. She needs some serious therapy. Not some serious therapy, some serious therapy. Great Dane says, wouldn't it be ironic if she were forced to call an Uber and it was you who picked her up? That's funny. That would be so ironic that I would leave her ass there. Alicia Schaefer, how are you doing? Good to see you in here. How are you doing, Alicia Schaefer? What's going on, Antoinette? Seventh Heaven says, that drink you have looks so good, cold and refreshing. Yeah, man. A little margarita, you know what I mean? Just a little bit, a little something. Cool me down, because we're gonna have this heated conversation. It's gonna be lit in here tonight. But man, the show I have for tomorrow, I'll tell you at the end of the show tonight. This is gonna be the first controversial, I think, like really controversial show, man. This is gonna be something. This one is gonna be something tomorrow, guys. This is gonna be something. What's going on, Nubian sister? Airman said, I was thinking the same thing. Hey, man, that junk is good. Cheers, guys. Cheers. What's going on, Incognito Fade? Says, hello, paying a visit to your page. Been binge watching too many videos and came across yours. Now subscribe. Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Willow B says, my mom is a piece of work as well. I know, right? What's up today forever? She says, because even my friends, let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping in this joint. Controversy. Controversy. All right. Let's put this number in here. That is the number to call in tonight. Oh, tomorrow's going to be a great debate, but this is going to be even better. This is going to be good too, but tomorrow's going to, oh man, I cannot wait. Daniel Brown says, by the way, great show last night. It was, man. Everybody has really been so involved in the shows and has made the show so good. And I think just doing them more regularly has just made people much more comfortable calling in. Seventh Heaven says, I'm trying to personally welcome and say hey to everyone, but I can't. It's all right. Just say hey, everybody. From It's all right. It's all right. It is all right. Let's see who this person is. Oh, okay, that's my boy Albert. I haven't seen that brother in a minute, man. I met that brother at the African store down here, and cool brother, man. We were in there getting some stuff, trying to support the African store, our black-owned business on Jefferson Street. It's cool brother, man. Cool brother. What's up, Michelle M? It is good to see you in the chat. Incognito Face says, how many got the guilt text or calls for not attending the memorial? My first time in my life not attending. Wow. Congratulations, man. The first of many, hopefully. The first of many. Seventh Heaven says, it doesn't help that I'm stuffing my face with barbecue potato chips. Man, those wavy Lay's barbecue chips are my favorite, man. What's going on, Miss Bailey 2? What you cooking? Y'all gonna stop cooking and not giving people no plate now. What's going on, Miss Ali? Karima Ali. Peace to you as well. Good to see you in the chat. Kai Nazgul says, what time do you normally stream? I seem to miss most of them. They're always 7:30 Central Time, 7:30 p.m. Central. Every day. I've literally been doing a stream every day for the last 2 weeks now, guys. So yeah, every day, 7:30. Cleo Banks. What's up, Cleo Banks? MKT is in the building. What's going on? Hey to you too, Cleo Banks. Cheers to you guys. Miss Bailey too. Italian sausage and onions. Okay. I'm crunching all in y'all's ear. I'm sorry. What's going on, Gypsy Lily? It is good to see you in the chat. Our other illustrious mod. It is good to see you in here. MKT said, what you drinking on? little margarita, man. Little margarita. All right, we got about 30 people in here. I think it is time for class to be in session. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it. So today's show, how do you feel about God since leaving the organization? Are you spiritual or are you religious? Two different topics, but they kind of link together. So I think they would be cool to talk about together in this show. That was a suggestion by our illustrious initial moderator, Seventh Heaven. Great idea, by the way. All right, so KB said God is cool. Now, I will admit, when I first left the organization, I was very jaded about religion. I was very, very jaded about religion. I didn't want to hear anything about religion. I didn't care about religion. I didn't care about the Bible. I didn't care about spirituality. I didn't care about nothing. But I just wanted a whole bunch of girls in my apartment. once me and my ex split up, it was just on and popping. I just wanted to have fun. I didn't care anything about religion. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't care. And it took me a while to get to a point where I could actually start thinking about religion again and not be jaded. Like I've said before, once I left the organization and split from my wife, I threw away any book that reminded me of the Watchtower, the organization. I didn't have any dress clothes because all dress clothes reminded me of the Kingdom Hall, and I didn't want any of that shit in my house. So I got rid of all my dress clothes. I didn't even want to think about religion or God, and I couldn't even say God. I didn't pray for years. The first time I've prayed was probably like 2 months ago. From the time I left the organization until about 2 months ago was the first time I prayed. I really didn't want to have anything to do with quote unquote God, because I was so jaded about religion from the organization. And even now, when I think about religion, I don't like the idea of religion. And I know a lot of people in this chat still may, and that's fine. But personally, I don't like the idea of religion. I much prefer the idea of spirituality, the idea of there being God in all things. I really started to study a lot of other types of religions and practices. And one of the things that I really want to study, I always wondered as a black man, what did black people study before we were stripped of our religion and our culture? What was it that we really practiced as black people? Because if you think about it, every other race has their culture of religion and what deity they worshipped. But as black people, we worship what we were given by the people who enslaved us. So I wanted to know, okay, what did black people do before we got to America? And, one thing I think a lot of people don't know is that voodoo was the practice that was part of Africa. Voodoo is what allowed the Haitians to be able to fight off their oppressors and not be enslaved. Voodoo is what we know of as voodoo. But after the Haitians were able to use their culture and it's not religion. Voodoo basically means the essence of God is in all things. And they were able, since they were not stripped of their culture or their religion, they were able to continue to use that in a way that would help them to ward off the people that were enslaving them. That was the thing that kept or gave the Haitians the ability to fight their oppressors. Okay? Now, how that relates to us, the thing is, hold on, guys. Volume low may be my fault. Let me check that. Let me check that real quick. All right. So, how that relates to us nowadays is that throughout history, the people who were enslaving black people couldn't have them have access to something as powerful as a spiritual practice that allowed an entire race of black people to not be enslaved. So what did they do? Firstly, they stripped us of that culture. And secondly, they made everyone believe that voodoo was inherently evil, which it is not. But it is a way to keep people from reconnecting with their sources. And here in America, that's one thing I've noticed. A lot of people of other races come here and they still have a connection to their culture that is from their homeland. They have the choice to say, all right, I've grown up in this culture and this culture is here in America and I want to choose which one, because they've experienced both. And as a black man, I didn't know anything about what black people knew or practiced before being brought to America. So I wanted to investigate that. Once I did, and once I learned a whole lot more about Christianity, I no longer associated myself, one, as a Christian, and two, I didn't associate myself as someone who wanted to be a part of anyone's religion. But learning what I've learned, even with learning about voodoo, how they associated aspects. God is a word that I think is a word that we created. But before that word was created or used prevalently, they would equate different aspects of nature with what God is perceived to be nowadays. Because in their practice, they believe no one could understand the entirety of the creator, because we don't know what the creator is, but we can deduce things about the creator based on the things that we can observe here on the planet. So there were different things that they would look at, and they would use the way different things interacted with each other to deduce things about the creator. And I always thought that was a very spiritual thing, because in my heart, there are a lot of things about the Bible that I simply do not believe. I do not believe that the God of the Bible is the creator of all things. I don't believe they are one and the same. As a black man, it is very hard for me to believe that God, if Christianity and the Bible were true, that God would allow slavery to be the way that me as a black man would be introduced to his word. The first slave ship was called the Good Ship Jesus. That was the ship that came and brought the first slaves to America, and they introduced religion to those people. And if God allowed slavery to be the form in which black people were introduced to him, and Christianity and the Bible were completely true, then I would have to be thankful for slavery, because that would be the way I was introduced to God and Jesus, and I simply can't co-sign that. So I do believe in a creator, but I simply don't believe that that creator is encompassed by the book that we call the Bible. I'm very spiritual though, and I believe that the universe, God, the creator, helps us to create the life that we want. And yeah, I just don't believe that it is the same as that book that people say that is what God is. I think we as people impress our own idea of what God should be and create God in our own visage. But as far as spirituality, I think spirituality is universal, and it doesn't depend upon your personal outlook on what God is. Spirituality is spirituality. Let's look at the chat. Let's look at the chat, guys. Let me start rambling for a second. Sweeney Rod. I'm never going to say your name again. I need to have a female host just in here just to say your name. He says, is there going to be a meetup? Yeah, I'm trying to work a meetup out, man, in August in Nashville. So yeah, Great Dane says, phase number 1, still believed all the JW BS. Phase number 2, believed JWs were wrong, but still 100% into a Christian God phase. Phase number 3, now believe in science, empirical evidence, and critical thinking. Okay, KB says, but God is extraterrestrial, off-world, omnipotent, all-powerful. Okay. I'm going to ask you to explain that, KB. MKT says the biblical God was beaten with an army with iron chariots. Okay. Sweeney Rod says driving all night from Colorado to Rapid City, so won't be able to chat too much. That's all right, man. Appreciate you being in the show. Miss Bailey 2 says Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus explains the curses, but I'm not sure if the master made it up or if it explains our plight in life. Miss Bailey 2 says Leviticus chapter 26. Daniel Brown says on point, Keith. Appreciate it, Daniel Brown. So that's what I think, guys. That is what I think. Alicia Schaefer said, hold on, I hit the wrong thing and moved the chat. Give me a moment. Alicia Schaefer says, agnostic here and searching. Husband and sons are atheists now. Really? Sweeney Rod says, my name is based off the Barbara Sweeney Todd, but my name is Rod. I figured that's what it was, but it just it just sounds really, really weird saying that. All right, so let's see here. Here's the number on the screen. KB. Go ahead and call in and explain what you're talking about, KB. Today Forever says, Keith, that has been a baffling thing for me. Black people of the world have been at the epicenter of the beginnings of documented history of the world. Christianity was not introduced until slavery. Christianity was not our native practice. You have to remember Christianity, the Bible and Christianity were books that were written in a language that we weren't even able to learn until we got here. And even once we got here, we weren't even able to learn it without being killed. So Christianity wasn't introduced to us. No, it was not our native religion. Christianity was not our native religion. Christianity was taught to us. And throughout slavery, when they were teaching it to us, there was only one. Hold on, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. You are on the K Fits My Life show. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is KB.
What's up, KB?
Hey, how are you?
All right. What's up? What's on your mind, baby girl? Explain your statement to us. What's on your mind?
When I said that God is an alien, an extraterrestrial, so I mean,
I believe that too. I totally agree with you, but I want you to explain and expound on it.
Okay. Well, how could he not? How could he not be? He exists off-world. He's not on this planet.
Right.
He is said to have omnipotent power. He's omnipotent. He's omniscient. He knows all things. He's all-powerful. So he's not a human. So what else could he be other than an extraterrestrial?
Exactly.
Right. So it kind of makes me laugh when people say that they don't believe in aliens, but yet they believe in God. And, you know, just by what I had just said, how could he and the angels not be anything but extraterrestrials? So I just find it kind of fascinating how people contradict themselves.
Agreed.
And even when people talk about being atheist or they're, you know, believe in science and logic, everything that we know or believe to exist, they're all theories, every last one of them. And I mean, the whole premise of science is that it's designed so that it always questions itself. So nothing in science is really 100% factual. It's the premise of science is that it's all experimental. So it's designed to be questioned. It's designed to be continuously proven whether it's true or not. And things that we believed maybe 50 years ago are not things that science is revealing as true today. I mean, just look at the conversation about gender. You know, 20 years ago, we thought that if you had certain body parts, you were a male or a female. And now there's new science coming out saying, well, that's not necessarily so. So, like, it just makes me laugh. Like,
I don't know about that one, KB.
No. I understand. I feel you, but I'm just saying, just for the sake of argument.
I still think if you got a dick, you're a boy, and if you got a vagina, you're a girl.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with you, right? But I'm just saying that the quote unquote new science is saying something different. You know, that gender is not binary. So things are always changing, even in the scientific world. So, you know, I believe like what Neil deGrasse said, that, you know, faith is not something that can be scientifically proven, because that's why we call it faith, right? You're believing in something that's unseen. But you can't prove that God exists, but neither can you prove that he doesn't exist. So it's always, you know, most people who are atheists, I think they're actually agnostic. They just don't know. And that's okay. But, you know, I don't know. I think just the design or by nature of being human, you have to have some kind of faith, because there isn't really anything that solid when it comes to, you know, all these concepts about what is or what isn't. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that faith is a essential part of humanity?
It has to be, because, you know, I have this little thing where I talk about like a little Facebook page where I talk about metaphysical science and all of that. And you know, science relies on the ability to observe things with your five senses in order to validate whether or not it's true. So we call that overt observation or covert observation. So overt is I can see it with my, or I can perceive it with one of my senses. You know, I can smell it, taste it, hear it, to determine whether or not a thing is true.
And covert
but then,
underneath that.
And covert is things that may be true that I can't observe with my senses. So, like, say your heart beating, right, or your blood circulating. Mm-hmm. Those things I can't observe with or perceive with my five senses. But I have these medical diagnostic tools like an X-ray or MRI, and I can see that happening in the body, and therefore I can validate that that's true. But 100 years ago, we didn't have any of those diagnostic tools. But did that mean that those things, that the heart beating, the circulatory system working, were not true? No, they were true. We just didn't have the means at that time to validate that they were true. So all of these other kind of, metaphysical things or quantum physics or the theory of God, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not true because we can't validate them with the science that we have available. It just may simply mean that we can't validate them yet. We have not gotten to the place where we've been able to develop anything that will help us perceive what those things are. I mean,
so are you saying that you feel that one day we will be able to prove the existence of God physically?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think that I think what we'll be able to do, I mean, what is God? I don't even know. That's like too big of a concept to even try to put into words. What's that quote from the Da Vinci Code, where the man who was the scientist there, and he was saying that my heart says that my mind says that there is a God, but my heart says that I was never meant to understand what God was, something like that. So, I think God just encompasses a whole lot of things. Not that I don't think that there's an intelligence behind that and the personality behind it. But like you said, I think, that word God, people kind of minimize him into images of us rather than us being images of God.
Right.
People make God images of them.
Right.
And that was kind of one of the things that kind of pulled me out of the truth too, because I was just like, I can't even fathom the fact that God might be more petty than I am. It doesn't make any sense. The whole concept around not being able to read other literature, not related to the Jehovah's Witness, or, not being able to go to another, building of faith for a wedding, or you can't tell me that God is more petty than me, because that sounds awfully petty to me.
Right. Agreed. Can't grow a beard. God really
can't. Right.
God said I can't grow a beard. Really?
He really cares. Like you're kidding me.
Like, bro, you would have got in, but that beard, bro, I can't let you in.
Sorry. It's just ridiculous things like that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that we might in the future develop other kind of instruments that will help us understand, how it is, what, some of the things around quantum physics are, or, maybe we'll discover, some means of time travel, or, how is it that I could be thinking about my aunt and wondering how she is, and all of a sudden she calls me on the phone or something, like, these kind of synchronicities that happen. Maybe we'll be able to develop something that will help us understand that or perceive how that happens. I don't know, but I think these are like some of the great mysteries about being human, like always trying to explore our world and how it works and try to understand it. But to say that we have answers of any kind, I think that's kind of not silly, but I think that's kind of overstepping. We don't really have any answers. We have some things that we've we've built a platform on because they seem true, and they've seemed true for a number of years. And so we have some, I forget what, there's an actual word for that, but I forget what it is. But we're still very much in a discovery process, I think, as humans. We don't know anything.
I agree. There's a lot of known knowns, there's a lot of unknown knowns, and a lot of unknown unknowns.
Right, you know, so I don't know, but I think this is one of the joys of being alive, just being able to constantly be in a state of discovery. I think that's why these organized religions, for some people, are so uncomfortable because they're so limiting. Like they kind of want to pigeonhole this life that is so wondrous, and it's like no, but you can't pigeonhole it. Like you can't say concretely that it's this or that because like I said, I think that the very nature of us is to be exploratory and expansive and constantly wondering and asking questions. But yeah, I feel like I'm taking up all your time again, but
no, you're good. You're right at about 10 minutes when you said that statement, and I'm like, okay, I think 10 minutes is gonna be the cutoff for everybody from now on.
Cutoff. Okay.
Thank you so much for calling in, KB. Always a pleasure to hear your voice.
Have a good one.
All
Bye.
Right. Bye. Yes. Good call. Very good call. Now, area code 910, you called in while KB was talking. What's going on, Tatiana? Good to see you in the chat. All right, there's 910. You are on the K Fits My Life show. What's your name and where you calling from?
Well, good evening, Mr. K. Fitz. How are you? It's the Nubian sister.
What's going on, Nubian sister? Y'all gonna kill me. Y'all killing me with all these sexy voices y'all coming on the show with, man. Oh, what happened? Hold on, my Skype crashed. Hold on. I think my Skype crashed. Give me 1 second, guys. Hell, Skype. All right, Nubian sister, call back. Skype just crashed. Sorry about that. We just opened it back up. What's up, my mango bango? Sorry about that, Nubian sister. We'll put the number back here. 615-412-9335. Yeah, Skype just crashed. That's never happened before. I'm so sorry. Please call back. I'm not sure why it crashed, but it did. So if you can call, actually, you know what? Let me call you back. Let me see if I can call you back. I can't. All right. So yes, call back, Nubian sister. I'm sorry about that. All right, there she is. Nubian sister, I'm sorry about that. The app just closed.
Oh, gosh. I just heard you say hello, and I didn't hear anything. Are you there, Mr. Fitz?
I am here, Nubian sister.
Okay, great.
All right, what's on your mind?
Hear you now. Okay, thank you. Yes, I just wanted to give a little insight into okay. I guess I can hear you on my phone, but I can't hear you on my other phone. All right. I'll just talk.
I'm not talking. I'm listening to you. I'm not even saying anything right now.
Okay. Let me move on. I don't want to top the show with this incidents happening. Actually, on the news today, you were speaking about the original man coming into this country from Africa and what their culture or what their religion was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a broadcast on television this evening concerning, I'll read the headline where I looked it up online, and it says that there was a unique slave autobiography written in Arabic in the U.S. that goes online at the Library of Congress. Okay? So the first paragraph reads, the Library of Congress has acquired and made available online the Omar ibn Said collection, which includes the only known extant narrative written in Arabic by an enslaved person in the United States. In 1831, Omar ibn Said, a wealthy and highly educated man who was captured in West Africa and brought to the United States as a slave, wrote a 15-page autobiography describing his experiences. So this particular document is available online through the Library of Congress.
Now, was it written in English or was it written in his native language?
In Arabic.
And they translated it?
He only wrote in Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a very, very pure document as far as, because the fact that it was written in Arabic, they couldn't tamper with it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well,
Right.
they could tamper with the translation, but they couldn't
Right.
tamper with the original. And that's the thing. A lot of these things that have been translated have been tampered with to, you know how they say
Right.
the history is written by the victor. So if they were to get his transcript and there was something in it that made them look bad, do you really think they're gonna leave that
Right.
shit in there?
Right, that's true.
Right.
But apparently, you know, this discovery that they found was one of a kind.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, first of all, he didn't know the language
Mhm.
when he arrived here,
Mhm.
and he only communicated in his native language, where you know, probably the slave owner who was illiterate himself, you know, probably didn't know what to do with it. He probably didn't even know it was a language when he saw him writing it. You know what I'm saying?
What's the
Probably
name
thought
of
it was
this document?
Okay. It says, for more information, you can go to the Office of Communications, Library of Congress, 101 Independence Avenue, Southeast, Washington, D.C., 20540. Okay, then there's a voice. It says a voice. It gives a phone number, area code 202-707-2905.
I found it.
Okay,
It says
good.
unique slave autobiography
Right.
written in Arabic in the U.S. goes online
Right.
at the Library of Congress.
And check the picture out. He was an intelligent gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Check the picture out.
Let's look at this. Let me see if I can pull this up so that everybody can see it for a second, guys. Let's see what Nubian Sister's talking about. Nubian Sister's trying to take us to school tonight. Y'all heard the bell ring, right? Let's look at this real quick. Hold on one moment. All right, now let's go to that screen. And we'll pull this around. Let's take a look at it, shall we? So this is this brother right here, Omar ibn Said, around the 1850s. Consists of 42 original documents in both English and Arabic, including the manuscript in Arabic of The Life of Omar ibn Said, the centerpiece of this unique collection of texts. Other manuscripts include texts in Arabic by another West African slave in Panama and from individuals located in West Africa. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Most definitely.
Okay. So we will definitely take a look at that, Nubian Sister. Now, what is your standpoint on the topic tonight? What do you think? Are you religion or are you spiritual?
Well, actually, I believe that we're all a product of the Supreme Being, and we have the attributes of God. It's mankind that tries to suppress that to control us. But if we tap into our spirituality, meaning our subconscious, the place where we go at a quiet time, the place where we hear that quiet voice guiding us, that's our connection to the spiritual being. Now, sometimes people want it to be regimented, or they want it to be titled, just so that they can belong. But in actuality, we all individually have the attributes of God, and in different aspects. It's like everybody has different talents. They said, so, not all are going to be evangelists. Some are going to be teachers, some are going to be healers. So I was born in Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, in the quote-unquote ghetto.
Okay. Quote-unquote.
And, my parents, who I love dearly, are not with me any longer. However, at that time, my father came from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And my mom's people, came through slavery, was a black American. And I was the fifth child of their union.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they departed and split up when I was 7. But we started out at the Catholic. Well, not really Catholic religion, because they didn't go. They just used to send us to the church,
Okay.
So that wasn't very effective. We used to think about going to church meant that we was going to buy candy afterwards. That was about our extent of our, religious instruction. So, needless to say, I didn't have any, religious upbringing. And, however, at the age of 12, I remembered that I was searching for God. I looked up in the sky, and I just really had this inner question, like, why am I here? What is this for? What is this about? I really had a burning desire to know. And as I became, an adult, I went into various religions. I went into Christendom, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, all kinds of Pentecostal churches, and then I studied the Nation of Islam with Farrakhan during that period of time. Yeah, I studied with them, which was very interesting. I mean, as I was growing up, that's when Elijah Muhammad was prevalent. I only remember at that point in time, I was around 11 or 12. All I remember about the Nation of Islam at that time was that it cleaned up communities.
Right.
Because before they came along, everybody was on drugs. Women were all prostitutes, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And when Elijah Muhammad came through with his program, okay, it wasn't the actual Islam from the East, because they didn't do all of the prayers, the 5 prayers a day and everything. But what he did do, he instilled in the people, the need to clean up, clean up their diet, clean up their mind, basically, to do for self, And it was a very positive program, of course, but we all know what happened.
Right.
With our beloved Malcolm X. All right. Then, so I was too young to get involved with it, but I remembered it. So then I went into Christendom, and I met all the times I've gone into different religions, usually because I'm meeting a different man,
So you don't have a center. You're just flopping around.
Oh, yeah, basically. Literally. And so then, but I always knew of Jehovah's Witnesses because they were always present.
Right.
But never actually investigated that religion. And so, to make a long story short, I went into the Nation of Islam, came out, went back into Christendom. Then I met another brother from Grenada who was the actual Islam. So, my curiosity about that religion I got involved with the actual Islam, the 5 times a day, the fasting, the khimar, wearing the long dresses, the whole nine, and left that religion and went back into Christendom, and then from Christendom went into the Jehovah's Witness. So each one, preaches that they are it. They are the truth.
Right.
But the most detrimental of all of them has been the Jehovah's Witness one, because it was one where what it was really about was kept away from you. So when you go into it, because I went into it as an adult, unlike most of what I hear about the people calling in that were born in, which I think is very unfortunate, and my heart goes out to people who were born in. But for me, not having that structure and having to bump around, I don't know which is better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're definitely going to have that show here soon, too. So how do you consider yourself now? You religious or spiritual?
More spiritual. I don't like the regimen of like when you go to church, because I did go back to church with my Christian brother. Is like begging me, you have to find a church right away. Don't let too much time go by. And so I did go to a church, and it's very, very theatrical, loud, and I always hated when they made the announcement. Okay, it's time to give money.
Right. Right.
I always hated that part, because I never know, like, is my money really going to a good cause, or is it going in somebody's bank
pocket?
account?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you would say that you are more spiritual, right?
Yes.
More spiritual. All right. So we got one tonight, guys, that says she is definitely spiritual. So we're going to put that one down. We got one spiritual. Thank you for calling, Nubian. We're going to let somebody else call in. We're going to see what they say.
Peace and blessings to everyone.
All right. Thank you for calling, Nubian sister.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So we got one person that is straight up spiritual. That's one. All right. All right. So we seem to be having a big conversation in the chat. MKT, my brother MKT. Let's see. Miss Bailey 2 says, a lot of things in religion and society are influenced by pagans. Most of what you see are just pictures because the technology didn't exist to take the images presented to us in textbooks. MKT says, pagan. I said, the term pagan literally just means someone who believes differently than you. It doesn't mean bad. It just means someone who believes differently. If you look at those words technically, guys, a Christian is pagan to a Jewish person. A Jewish person is pagan to a Christian. A Christian is pagan to a Buddhist. A Buddhist is pagan to a Jewish person. It literally just means someone who believes differently from you. But one of the things that they do is they use words like pagan to instill fear in someone, to say that opinion is pagan, so don't listen to it, when it literally just means it is something different from the way you believe. So don't get wrapped up in those words like pagan, guys. That doesn't mean bad. It's just like when most people hear the word voodoo, they think evil. And it's only because we have been, not we, because I don't anymore, but people have been programmed to think that when they hear that word. So when people hear the word pagan, they automatically think evil or bad, or I shouldn't listen to that. Or when people hear the word voodoo, they think, oh, it's evil, it's spells, it's witch doctors, it's zombies. No, that's not what it means, but that's what you've been taught to believe so that you won't think in any other way. Okay? So pagan doesn't mean bad, it just means different. Okay? All right. B. Fitz says, my cousin Brian Fitzpatrick says, hence the phrase pagan holiday. All holidays are pagan, really. Well, there would be pagan to someone who is not of the faith of the people who originated the holiday. And even Easter doesn't have Christian origin. So Easter, that what everyone just celebrated, is it is a pagan holiday. It's the worship of the god Astora that they would give gifts to every year. Please call back. I just hit the wrong button. I'm sorry, I was talking. Please call back, caller. I was talking and I hit the wrong button. It was to the goddess Astora that they would give gifts to bring in the harvest or to bring in spring every year. The origin of Easter had absolutely nothing to do with Jesus. The Roman Catholic Church just chose to latch Jesus onto the holiday, but the original holiday had absolutely nothing to do with Jesus. Actually, the origin of the Easter egg. Hold on one moment, caller. I'm talking about something. Give me 1 second. The origin of the Easter egg hunt had absolutely nothing to do with Easter eggs. It had to do with women going off and hiding, and the men would go and find them and have sex with them. And to bring that to a point that was so much more palatable for people here, they switched that shit to eggs. Now, you are on the K-Fix My Life show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
How you doing, my man? It's Daniel Brown again from Toronto, Canada.
What's going on, Daniel Brown? What's on your mind? So how do you feel since leaving the org? Are you spiritual or religious, or how do you feel about God since you left, brother?
Well, I've gone through a couple of transitions, I guess you can say, if you remember last time, anybody who was in the call, I remember I said I was stop attending when I was around 15. So from 15 to 19, I was still pretty much mentally in, right? So around 19, I started, just for context, right? Because shout out to Nubian sister, I heard her call, you know what I'm saying? My parents migrated from Dominican Republic. So, if anybody knows a little bit of history or what's going on down there, there's a lot of, racial tension between Haitians and Dominicans and all that, right? So I grew up with parents who are pretty conservative and pretty old school thinking, right? Mm-hmm. So it's messed up growing up with not only Jehovah's Witness parents, but parents who don't really want you to express your blackness. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when I was around 19, I started studying, researching different things, and I too came across things like, for example, I started, reading up on Malcolm X and things like that. So I wanted to know what influenced this great man, to do what he did. So I studied up on the Nation of Islam, and then later on came across some Nation of Gods and Earths, studied with them for a few years. It appealed to me what they were saying because, like I said, I come from a background where it wasn't really allowed or encouraged to express, your blackness, right? So I got these people telling me how the original man is God and all this, and it really appealed to me. And to this day, it really influences me and uplifts me in a certain way,
Okay.
But I couldn't really attach myself to any organization or any group, I guess it comes from having a Jehovah's Witness background. You see, I think you're able to detect certain things, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So later on, as I grew older, you know what I'm saying, researching, I don't know if it's Richard Dawkins or Hawkins, I don't know if I butchered his last name, but,
talking about the dude, the wheelchair?
The dude, one of them atheist dudes from UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What you doing, brother? What you in the wind tunnel?
Nah, 'cause you didn't even know I'm on the road right now, but I couldn't miss out this show.
Okay.
You know, and I had to add my piece to the equation.
Okay.
You understand? I can't miss out the show with Patience.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
But yeah, no, basically I stand today as a 27-year-old man who knows in the future. I stand more on like the agnostic atheist side. You understand? And I'm very into the spiritual side of people's cultures, of people's belief systems. You know, although I don't subscribe to anybody's, I'm still very interested and fascinated by the theories and stories and everything they have to say. You know, and I just feel like religion should be practiced by people who started it, originated it within their culture. You know, I feel like anything else is, I guess you could take the best parts of what you like, but anything else is pretty much conflicting with your spirituality if it doesn't come from, you know, what came from you. Like us black people, we have a problem because we can't really identify the main source. But like you said, there's voodoo. I'm not saying go out there and do those things, but if that's what appeals to you, then, you know, try to connect with what is in your roots.
Right.
You know, that's
so how do you view? Let me ask you that. What do you said you lean towards spiritual or religious, or how do you feel?
I'm always more on the spiritual side.
Yeah.
You know, religion more. I like to study it and research like the theology behind everybody's religion, but you know it's not true. But the spirituality, for example, behind the Hinduism and the Buddhism, you have to acknowledge that the spirituality behind the religion, you know, so that I could appreciate, you know, and anything that is more in touch with nature and with your soul and with the stars, that stuff I can relate to, you know. I don't really like to ponder about if there's a God who dictates what we do, and I doubt if there is one, it actually cares about what goes on the planet, taking into consideration all the things that have gone on and are still going on. You understand? So I understand that spirituality is a part of humanity and all that, you know. So I like that part of everything, but the religious side, you know, it's not really. It doesn't dictate my life, you know.
Gotcha.
But I always lean more to the spiritual side. When everybody got, you know, I lean more to that. If anybody has something to say about spirituality, I'm always listening to that person. I'm always, you know, in tune with them. Even if I'm not going to subscribe to it, but I always take that into consideration because I know where they're coming from. It's more relatable. It's more down to the earth, you know.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate you calling in, brother. Hold on. Yeah. Appreciate you calling in, brother. Great call, and we're trying to keep the calls tonight. If we can keep them under 10 minutes, that would be so great. So we're trying to give everybody a chance to call. So thank you so much for calling, brother.
No doubt,
really appreciate it, brother.
Everybody do the thing, and I appreciate it a lot, you know. And next time I'll make sure I call him in the crib. But I couldn't miss out. I won't be home for a minute. But I have to get my piece in, and I love everybody, and every call touches me in a certain way. So
hey, we appreciate you calling in, brother. Thank you so much, man. And he sounded like he was in a wind tunnel. All right, let's look at what's going on in the chat. Let's look at what's going on in the chat. Now, Judaim is talking a lot about zombies. Now, zombies aren't what the origin of a zombie is not what you see on TV. It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. Also, Christianity was not something that was rooted in Africa. Christianity didn't have its origins in Africa. And that's something that we can go into more here later. Miss Bailey too says, and Judaim, you are more than welcome to expound on your zombie comment. Miss Bailey 2 says King James visited the Americas before he published the first Christian Bible in English. Therefore, he probably hijacked black oral traditions and twisted info to support his impending slave trade. Well, that also depends on who you talk to as well, because if you talk to a lot of other people, some people say that King James wasn't the white homosexual person that some people accuse him of being. Some people say that King James was actually a black man, and that the story of King James was perverted in order to keep the actual truth of who he was hidden or whitewashed. So a lot of things depend on either interpretation or the person that is telling the story. Again, as I always say, history is written by the victor. So Judaim, you are more than welcome to call in and expand on your comment. I think let's go back to the number on the screen, and we'll post it on here as well. All right. Yeah, good call, Daniel. Appreciate you calling in, bro. Seventh Heaven says, I don't particularly like the Bible, but the scriptures that I do like, I hold on to. For instance, it is done unto you as you believe, and the kingdom of heaven is within. That's all I need to know. Good comment, Seventh Heaven. KB says, are y'all going to keep me up again until 1 a.m. like we did last night? Yeah, man. Last night's show was great, too. But we always have such great conversations, man. I think tomorrow's going to be a beast, but we're going to get this one done tonight. So, yes, Judaim, go ahead and call in and expound on your comment. Is there anyone else that has any other views? We are talking about whether you are spiritual or religious, and how you feel about God since you left the organization. Now, again, like I said, I was completely jaded. I didn't want to hear anything about God. Judaim says that Kaif at me, regarding Christianity being rooted in Africa, I think we are in agreement about African belief systems being remixed into Christianity. Maybe root wasn't the most precise word. Agreed, because it wasn't rooted in Africa, but yes, it was remixed into Christianity. A lot of the things that we see here in America are a result of African origin. Especially if you go to Washington, D.C., everything in Washington, D.C. is a reflection of Africa. Miss Bailey 2 says, I was confused about K-Fit's comments. What were you confused about? The Washington Monument is a direct ripoff of African history. The Washington Monument is nothing more than a phallus symbol, and that is a direct rip from African architecture. A lot of the architecture in Washington is made as a direct reflection of African architecture and African practices. There is a tour called Egypt on the Potomac, where if you were to take this tour, you are able to see all of the African influence in Washington, D.C. Yes, MKT, even the word amen. Everyone says amen. Amen is nothing more than the name of Ra, Amen Ra. And everyone says amen, and they think it's some Christian word, but that is a word that came straight from African ancestry. Amen was Amen Ra is Ra's entire name. Miss Belly 2 says the real conspiracy is that everyone is not from Africa. My family is indigenous to this land. That is another thing. Very good comment, Miss Belly 2. A lot of people think that when they think of Native Americans, they think of what people used to call Indians. But African people sailed here before anyone else. Black people are really what you would call the Native Americans to an extent, because they were here of their own free will before anyone else was, according to history. There's a lot of things that we don't know that we weren't told about history, but I feel like we are going yeah. So, how do we feel about God since leaving the org? Are you spiritual or religious? We are going off on some tangents tonight. I think we are talking about flat earth and stuff and all kind of crazy stuff. All right, let's spam this number in the chat. KB says, my original thought remains God is cool with me. MKT says, Africans sailed here first in the Americas long time. Exactly. That's exactly what I said. Cleo Banks says, I think we are all spiritual, some more than others, and some attach their spirituality to different things, religion, practices, rituals, JWs themselves. Interesting. Miss Billy 2 says, every continent, Aboriginal people are blacks. North and South America, Australia, New Zealand, South Pacific Islands, Africa, etc. MKT says, there is an Indian tribe with gold-tipped spears. Can't think of the name of it right now, but I remember reading about it. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. So call in, everybody. Call in, everybody. I think I missed some of the comments in the chat. Let me scroll up a little bit. Judaim, did you ever expound on your zombie comment? I don't think you did. Great Dane says, at K-Fitz, you left off with, and when Christianity was introduced to us Africans, when you got your first call. Yeah, that was too long. I don't even remember what I was saying now. Dang, I hate when that happens. Today Forever says, Africans inhabited Mexico before the Spaniards. That is true. There's a lot about history that we are unaware of. Or have just been told a lie about. I think this would be a good show. We can talk about this as well. There's a lot of stuff that I know. I'm trying to stay on topic, but I feel like we're drifting off a little bit, and it's my fault. It is all my fault. So, how do we feel about what were some of the things that we felt about God or thought about God originally when we left the organization? What were some of the things that when we first left that we thought, this is how I feel about it? Because as I said, for me, it was not good. It was not a good thing at all. It was not good at all. Not good at all. Willow B says the house is silent and I can't be talking about how I feel about God anyway. You are on the K-Fitz My Life show. What is your name and where you calling from?
Hey man, this is MKT. What's going on with you?
My brother MKT, drop some gems real quick for us, MKT. What's
I'm
on
gonna
your
try
mind,
to
my brother?
make this real quick, but I gotta say this one thing, man. You know not to be talking about this stuff. Somebody gonna be doing YouTube videos on you in a little bit.
Hey.
You know, you can't be talking about this stuff.
Hey, man, you know me, MKT. I'm gonna bring that real, man. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm gonna tell the truth while I'm here.
Yeah, hey, that's what you're supposed to, man. You know, I just want to say that, man. We got to continue to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just stop at one point. You know, you can't just sit there and just say that, okay, well, you know, this is why. You got to keep challenging yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're put on this earth to do, to continue to expand our minds, continue to learn new things. Because there's so much information, you know, that I'm dropping things in the chat. A lot of people's like, whoa, like, I ain't even know anything about that, you know? But I just want to touch on, well, let me answer the question first. Let me back up here first.
Okay.
So go ahead and ask me the question, so I can go ahead and get my thoughts together.
Say what?
Go ahead and ask me the question. What was the question again about this whole entire live? How you feel about God?
How you feel about God since leaving the org, and are you spiritual or religious now?
I would say that I am spiritual.
Okay.
Because, you know, first thing I did when my waking up phase was I was to study the history behind words. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how words came into fruition. And given that, if you learn how these words, you know, what the words mean, what their original meaning is, then you can understand a lot of things. This word pagan, you know, when I went and started studying the history behind that word, I hate the word myself. Mm-hmm. I really do. A lot of people use it, you know, and I just think that no African person, no African American, African, you know, black person, you should not be using that word, because basically that was a term that was used, that they used to basically a person that is a villager, you know, somebody that has their own faith and they will practice the mainstream religion. Mm-hmm. They would use that as a term to demonize you, basically saying that, okay, you need to be a part of our religion, you can't have your own.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't like that term. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When the people see me, see my text, oh, you got a pagan symbol, and I call back with, okay, well, look at Hezekiah's seal. A lot of people need to look at that. Look at Hezekiah's seal. They have a winged sun on there, and it has an ox on there, on Hezekiah's seal. A lot of people don't know this. Now, I told this one person this, we was having a dialogue, and I told him, I said, well, first of all, I think he was like a Hebrew Israelite or something like that.
Okay.
And I said, well, you know, Hezekiah says ox on. He's like, who's Hezekiah? And I'm like, okay, you're supposed to be living by this book, but you don't even know who Hezekiah is. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's what I'm getting at is, you know, the way that we were taught, we were all miseducated, I'm gonna say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a program that they have everybody into, and that's why a lot of times I don't get too upset with people when they don't know the things that I know. And I'm not saying I know everything. Like, if you notice, and I'm pretty sure everybody else noticed in the chat, when I say something, I tell people to look it up. Look it up. Because I'm not going to, I don't see myself as no leader or nothing like that. I just do studying. Like I said, I'm an independent researcher. I research all these things. And that's why I say I'm spiritual versus being religious. Because, I mean, think about it. We all do things religiously. You can just get up and take a walk in the morning. You do it religiously. You can play basketball. You practice religiously. Mm-hmm. Religion is something that you do. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the term of your culture, of your culture and everything like that, then religion is just something that you're bound to, in a sense. It's a bind. You think about Watchtower. You know, when we join that religion, you become bound to those laws. Everything you're bound to. You're bound to the doctrine. You know. But what they do is they attach everything with spirit, but people don't know the exact term that spirit means. If you look up the word spirit etymologically, you'll see that all it means is air, breathing, breath. That's what it means. Mm-hmm. You know, I tell everybody to look that up. All it is just breathing. You know. Okay. Yeah. So that's why I just want to just elaborate about that. You know, your spirit. If you're a spiritual person, then you should be open-minded. You should be at ease. Your vibration should be up. You know, you should be approachable. That's being spiritual. You can't be a real spiritual person if you're always upset and angry.
Exactly.
You know, your vibration is low.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's why one of the things I'm gonna say this, and I got to run in. I got to run. But when I used to work at the dollar store, I could never understand this, and I used to work on Sundays. And this is when I was still baptized and everything. I was with, and I always worked Sundays after the meeting and everything. And the church people just come in and say, "Oh, why aren't you in church?" And I know those were some of the most meanest people coming to the register. I mean, those are some. And what I'm getting at is that if you come from church, your vibration's supposed to be up. But some of them, I mean, they get mad. I remember some of my parents used to have the biggest arguments were after the convention, coming home.
Yeah.
Trust
me, I remember too.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. All you're hearing is keep going, keep going, keep doing this, keep doing that. Jehovah's going to destroy this. It's lowering your vibration. It's lowering your spirit. You know what I'm saying? It puts you in a bad tone, But that's all I wanted to say. I got to run, but I appreciate the dialogue and the conversation. Wish I could elaborate a little bit more, but I did write a script now, but I don't have time to do all that. I'm probably going to put it on a video.
Okay. Well, we all subscribe to you, MKT, so we'll check it out, brother.
Yeah, I'll probably get started back doing videos probably like 2 months from now or something like that, But I'll be in here, what I'm saying? Maybe sometime in the future, when I get some good equipment, we can do a live stream and elaborate a little bit more on this topic, because I feel like, a lot of people, they don't know where to go. They don't know what books to read, what information to look at, and it's very important that people know their history. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I would love to do a live stream, a Google Hangout with you, MKT. I think it would be good, bro.
Yeah, and one thing I do have to say, just to throw this out there, people need to know this also too. Just in Egypt, there aren't just pyramids in Egypt. There's pyramids all over the world. There's pyramids in Nigeria. There's a Sphinx in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. There is pyramids in the Americas. There are pyramids in China.
Mexico.
Mexico is just everywhere, and people need to know. There's not no conspiracy. You can Google it right now and look it up. And there's sources in there and all that good stuff. So just want to throw that out there. So just so that you don't think that this is somebody just trying to talk about just about Egypt. We're talking about all over the world and everything like that. There's some information which everybody can benefit from.
Definitely. Thanks for calling, MKT. You always drop gems, brother.
I try. I mean, my wife don't listen to him, but somebody got to listen to him, I bore her with this stuff. You can imagine. She's like, "Oh, you always trying to lecture somebody."
Well, be safe out there, brother. We'll be in the chat. We'll see you in the chat, all right?
All right, no.
All right, bro. Always a pleasure to talk to MKT. Always a pleasure to talk to MKT. That brother always has some intelligent things to say. Let's go back up here to this chat, see what's going on. Miss Belly 2 says, you're right. There are the Olmecs of Mexico, Central America, and Caribbean islands. The 7,000 mark was made up so they don't have to acknowledge our creator. Okay. Seventh Heaven says, okay, so maybe we really don't want to say what we feel about God since leaving the org, because we surely are not. I think I agree with you, Seventh Heaven. I think people are a little bit afraid to go there. KB says, black people are just native to the planet. Daniel Brown says, all religions took from Africa in one way or another. That's why you can feel the spirit in all. We are the originators of mythology. Okay, good thing. KB says, DNA of the planet comes from African people. Okay. Chloe Banks says, yes, everyone's agreeing. Yes. Aramis says, life of discovery. Yep. Daryl Thompson says, cool. I thought, okay, he was talking about MKT. KB says, listen, I always thought that religion was not lining up with my feelings about God. It caused real stress in me because the God I knew in my heart was not lining up with what I was learning. That's a very good point. But I am grateful to have been able to read the Bible and learn some of what I believe were echoes of the thoughts of God. Nice. Very well put. Very well put. Hold on, I moved the chat, so let me go back to where I was. Seventh Heaven says, so are the sayings to do something religiously or to do something faithfully interchangeable? Good question. Well, I would think to do something religiously means something you just do religiously out of practice anyway. Because you have, like, if I go running every day, I do that religiously because I have evidence that it works for me. To do something faithfully is to do something because you believe it's going to do something great, but you don't have any evidence of that, because that's what the word faith means. Sure expectation of things hoped for, though evidence not beheld. But if I do something religiously, I have evidence that it either works or it doesn't. And if I do it religiously, that would obviously say that it is doing something good for you and you have evidence of it. Maybe. Because if you do something based on faith religiously, it's the same thing. That's a really good, that's a very good question, Seventh Heaven. What's going on, Red Boy? Ms. Mont Blanc says, I woke up through a lot of prayer. Daniel Brown, yeah, great call, MKT, of course. Yeah, that's one thing. Studying the etymology of words is really deep. You can learn a lot just by studying the etymology of words, man. Miss Bailey 2 says, I saw the pyramids everywhere, and the biggest ones are in the Americas. Sudan has them too. Interesting. Deidre says, Seventh Heaven says, thank you, K Fitz. Miss Bailey 2 says, we are still doing research on our culture, history, and waking up. So how can we give a definitive answer about spirituality? Too much copying taking place and trickery by hiding our real history. KB says he's right. It suppresses the spirit because it's constant talk about death and doom in a covert way. Yes. MKT says, remember, God in its original term means that which is to be invoked. Okay. Good stuff, guys. Great comments. I'm trying to go back. I saw something from someone that I want to read, and I can't remember what it was. Hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, here we go. Today Forever says, that's what I don't like, being bound to a doctrine. Low vibrations, not being in tune to the God in you. Okay. Great Dane says, spiritual, religious, or neither. It's not a black or white binary option. Great Dane, I'm going to say, can you expound on that? Miss Mont Blanc says, actually, I feel closer to God now since leaving than I ever did while in the org. I can agree with that statement. I have literally started getting to a point where I pray, every morning. Anytime I'm during the day when I need direction, I'll say a little prayer. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm praying to Jesus or the God of the Bible. I'm praying to the Creator, but I don't know if that Creator, I don't believe that Creator is the God of the Bible, and I'm not necessarily praying to Jesus or anything like that. Cleo Banks says, I wish I felt spiritual or religious, but I just feel nothing after waking up to that JW lie. I want that warm connection to a higher power, but no connection. I'm still looking. Cleo Banks, give yourself time. That's all I can say. It's like coming out of a relationship, Cleo. If you break up with somebody, you can't just jump right into another relationship. You can, but it's not a good fucking idea, because you need to take time to figure out who you are at this point in your life. And in figuring that out, you will start to find who you are and what belief system resonates with you. It's going to take time to get the last relationship that you had with the organization out of your system so that you can even be open to a new one. But right now, you really haven't even walked away from it yet. You're still in there. So you're not going to really be able to find a new type of relationship because you're still in your relationship. It's almost like you're trying to find somebody else to date while you're still dating the same person. And that's not really going to work. So you're just going to have to take some time and be patient. And once you completely move out of that relationship, and then you take some time, then you'll be able to find the new relationship with the creator that's going to work for you. But it's just going to take time. Willow B says, I agree with Great Dane. I feel like I'm neither. Yeah, man. It's a deep thing. Yeah, guys, if you haven't, let me find MKT's channel real quick. And I'll put the subscribe link in here so everybody can just join his channel real quick. I think I've done it once before, but I think I'll just do it one more again. There you go, MKT. Subscribe to that brother's channel. Great Dane is so funny. I love your comments, Great Dane. Great Dane says, at Willoughby, neither am I. I want evidence and provable facts. That's why this discussion is rather senseless to me, but I respect Mr. Keith and where he is at this time. I don't understand why the discussion would be senseless to you and why you respect me and where I am at this time. You know I'm going to ask you to expound on that, Great Dane. What exactly are you saying? There is not that you know I'm going to ask. Seventh Heaven says, there is nothing worse than coming out of the org feeling so disconnected that you don't even want to live and cannot be happy. But on the other side of the coin, there is absolutely nothing. Interesting. Miss Belly 2 says, I am not sure about the divine name. There was no reason to translate it. I saw a Kim Mikey video proving that Jehovah is a Masonic name and used by the military. Now, Jehovah, the vowels, the J didn't even exist at that time, and the other sounds that are in that name didn't even exist at the time that the God Jehovah would have been someone that they worshipped. Jehovah, the word Jehovah didn't even exist. The letters that make up that word didn't exist. That's why it was called Yahweh. Jehovah is a name that was made up, but it's not the way it really was. Okay. But on the other side of the coin, there's absolutely nothing that compares to feeling the polar opposite. Gotcha, Seventh Heaven. Today Forever says, Cleo Banks, you have to remember that you are digging yourself out of having other people do your thinking for you. Processing your connection to the atmospheric spirit will come. Daniel Brown says that, Cleo, to me, spirituality has nothing to do with being connected to a higher power. I consider myself pretty spiritual, but don't necessarily have to believe in a creator. I think everyone's opinions tonight are really great. Whether you believe in a creator or not. The fact of the matter is, whether you believe, I think this is a better way to phrase that. Whether you believe in a creator outside of yourself or not doesn't matter. Because I think whether you believe in a creator outside of yourself or not, the result is going to be the same. Whether you believe in a creator outside of yourself and you pray to that creator, if that creator is part of you, then your higher self is still going to be the thing that helps you manifest the things into the world. If you don't believe in a creator outside of yourself and you believe that creator is inside of yourself, then your inner self is going to help you manifest those things into the real world. Either way, in my opinion, you're talking to the same thing, because the God is in you, whether you don't believe it or whether you believe it or not. Whether you believe in an external God or an internal God, either way, either of those gods are the one that's going to help you manifest something in the real world. If you don't believe in the external one, the internal one inside you is going to help you to manifest things into the world. Either way, it's going to happen. All right. Who is Reb? I've not seen you here before. Thank you for joining the show. I think your relationship with God is personal and is nobody's business to have any input on. A lot of the decisions about what we were not allowed to do came down to what people would think about it. Okay. Red Boy says, so I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a fan of religion. I attribute this feeling to J.F. Rutherford's recording of religion is a snare and a racket. MKT says, when you pray, you talk to yourself. Exactly. That's exactly what I just said. The worldly spouse says, my bad, I am just pointing out facts. Okay. Miss Blanc says, right on, Red Boy. I agree. You guys are having such great conversations. All right, guys. Let us all in on the conversation. They're like, you know what, Keith? Can you just start the show and then you can walk away? We just want to have the chat. I'm like, man, I want to be part of it too. What time is okay? Yeah, this one will not be a 3-hour show. We can do 2 hours tonight. So I have to get out here and make a little money. And this NFL draft is coming this week, so it's going to be a lot of money in Nashville. So I got to get out there and make that money. Let's see here. Okay, Cleo Banks. I didn't know you went to Bethel. Did not know you went to Bethel. Alicia Schaefer says, so many great comments that reflect where I am where I am at with the whole God thing. I was so angry after waking up. Through the last couple of years, even tried attending churches in my search. They seemed so fake. I've never been to a church, and I just don't think I'll ever be able to go to one. Just can't bring myself to do it. I just can't bring myself to do it. Can't bring myself to do it. People have invited me, and I'll be nice, and I'll just say okay. I just never can go. Cleo Brank says, "Don't remind me." Ugh. Oh man. Okay, Great Dane says you're not going to like this. However, I feel as if I'm watching children talking about if Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, or leprechauns are real. It's something they're told is true, but they doubt. And you're trying to make sense of it. Interesting. 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 I see what you said, Great Dane. But I don't think the creator that I have inside of myself, I don't equate to Santa Claus. I equate it to myself because I've seen the things that I can do. I've literally seen the things that I have manifested happen. I've heard myself answer questions. Just like when I told you guys I shouldn't go to Atlanta because I meditated and my inner voice told me not to go. Before I did that meditation, I was super stoked at going to Atlanta. I was so ready. And then I sat down, burned that sage, turned everything off, and meditated. And I literally heard the voice tell me not to go. You're going to be disappointed. Don't go. You're going to be upset that you spent that time and money. So just stay home. And I heard that so clearly. And then I ignored it. And I went, and it was exactly like that voice in my head said. Now, that's just, for me, that among many other things are proof that there is something that when I meditate or think really deeply, I'm connecting to something inside of myself. Again, like I said, my spirit, we know there's something inside of us that I think we just really don't completely understand. Our mind and our brain are not in the same place. There's something different there. The electrical force that makes up who we are and our physical bodies are not the same. There's something different. There's a separation there. So there is something that we can tap into. Great Dane says, so attribute that to you, not to some external entity. And that's exactly what I've said, Great Dane. I've said that several times, that I don't necessarily believe in the God of the Bible, but I believe that whatever that entity is inside of me. It is a part of me. But at the same time, it's hard for me to be able to say, okay, I have this God-like ability inside me, but it had to come from somewhere. It's like saying, okay, there's a house in the middle of a field, but nobody built it. It just popped up by itself. Now, somebody built that. There has to be something. And even if it's some big bang, even if it's something from nothing, we don't even know what nothing is. There has to have been something in that nothing. Judaim says, when you came to Atlanta, did you come with an open mind and good intentions, or were you expecting things to go awry? No, I was hoping. I mean, I literally made $1,200 while I was down there. I was making money. But the fact is, once I looked into what I was doing, that's when I found out that what I was doing was scammy. And that's what the inner voice was talking about. The inner voice was saying, basically, you're going to find out that it's a scam, and then you're going to be disappointed. So that's why I turned down the money. I was on my course. If we would have kept going, I would have made $11,000 over the next 12 days, but I had to turn that down. And so I went with an open mind and good intentions, especially after I made that $1,200. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And he's like, yeah, we'll send you a check on the 1st of May. And then I had to turn that shit down because I found out it was not totally above board. So I came with great intentions. I was excited as hell. Red Boy, thank you so much for your $20 donation, my brother. I appreciate you so much. MKT says, when I read Judges 1:19, Jehovah was with Judah, and they took possession of the mountainous region, but they could not drive out the inhabitants of the plain because they had war chariots with iron. God said, I can do a bunch of stuff, but I cannot mess with them war chariots with iron, bro. You are on your own. MKT says, I was done with that God of the Bible. Oh, man. Now, I was done with the God of the Bible when he punished two human beings for being outsmarted by an entity that had been here since the beginning of time. That shit is just unfair. You're gonna get mad and punish all of humanity because two naked people got outsmarted by a being that had been around since the beginning of creation? That is some low down shit. Seventh heaven, light, love, light, power, peace, beauty, and joy. Those are attributes of God, and being his creation, his children, we are to know we are all of those as well. Yes. Willow B says, honestly, I kind of get turned off with God when I start at the beginning with Adam and Eve. Yes, see, we were on the same page, Willow B. On the same page. Michelle M, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. MKT says, I feel as though religion separates you from the God within you. Yes, I think that was the purpose of religion. I think that was the main purpose of it. Today Forever says, KB, I'm working from my desktop getting hammered. Damn, this dude Keith is not going to get me unemployed. Hanging out in the chat. Oh, man. Willow B says, I've been trying to say that this whole time, Fitz. Yes, Daniel Brown, anyone believe in their third eye? Tequila said, I've never thought of it that way. Yeah, man, you have. The thing with the Bible is that you kind of have to really look at the stories and really break them down. There's a lot of stories that if you really listen to them, they make absolutely no sense that a loving person would do that. To me anyway, especially, and I've talked about it before, the story of Job is just the absolute worst thing in my mind. I think that is the worst story in the whole history of stories. And to think that even in the organization, they try to make that the story of Job so, they try to make it seem like it's such an amazing, great story. And I'm thinking, no, it's not a great story. God made a bet with a creature that he created, and he told that creature to do whatever you want, just don't kill him. So God basically sanctioned the murder of Job's entire family when he could have stopped it, but he just sat back and watched. He sat back and watched and allowed this creature that he could have stopped to murder this man's entire family, even though he hadn't done anything wrong. And then at the end of it, God said, since you helped me win this bet, I'm going to give you back all the money you had. And then check this out. He says, and I'm going to give you some children that are even more beautiful than the ones you had. And I'm thinking, but don't you have the power to bring his kids back? That would be like me telling somebody in this chat right now, I'm going to murder your kid, but I'll have sex with you and make you some new ones. Nobody would accept that. That is ridiculous. It is such a ridiculous story. And I've used the illustration. It would be like me. Anyway, Job is enough. Even the story of Abraham and Isaac. God said, I want you to murder your son. Take him up on that hill, put him on an altar, tie him up, and murder him in my name. And then they go up there to commit the murder. Abraham gets ready to stab him, and God says, psych! I'm just playing. Thank you for being so obedient, though. Why do people allow God to do things that if a normal human were to do the exact same thing, they would be executed or put in prison? That's my main issue. Because if I were to take my daughter, if I were to tell somebody, go up there and murder my daughter, and they tied up my daughter and got ready to stab her, and I'm like, psych, I'm just playing. Everybody would be like, dude, you really put your daughter through that? You are a horrible individual. Cleo Banks says, yes, your Job video was the first video I saw of yours, and I was like, oh my God, he's so right. You definitely helped me wake up with that video. Thank you, man. Thank you, Cleo Banks. Tequila Mean says, just think about how many people God killed versus the devil. The devil actually has never killed anybody. The devil has not killed anyone in the Bible. The devil has not directly killed anyone in the Bible. God, on the other hand, is the Floyd Mayweather of battles. He is everything and O. It is ridiculous when you look at it, man. I'm like, dang, God just, man, God, you need some Prozac. God of the Bible needs some Prozac. I mean, there are so many horrible stories. I mean, think about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot. And Lot was the only good man in the whole town. And when the men came in, they saw the angels and they wanted to rape the angels. And they went up to Lot's house. And God himself said Lot was the last good man in this place. And they went up to Lot's house. And the men beat on Lot's door. Hey, tell them fine ass dudes to come in here so we can rape them. Lot's ass, being the only good man in the entire place, says, don't rape the angels who have supernatural abilities and could totally kill all of you guys with just one swing of their wrist, one flick of the wrist if they wanted to. I got some beautiful virgin daughters in here. Why don't y'all just gangbang my daughters? I'll send them out. Y'all can just rape the hell out of my daughters. Gangbang. Do whatever you want to do to them. Bukkake. Y'all like bukkakes? Y'all seen Pornhub? 3 virgin daughters in here. Come in here. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to them. And I'm thinking, this is the last good man in the city. The guy that offered up his virgin. Not even women who had sex before. Virgin ones. Here are my virgin daughters that I'm offering up to be gang banged by a group of crazy men. But God says you're the last good man in the city. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Today Forever says, mind blown. The devil never killed anybody. I wish I had smoked less weed in my youth. It's true. The devil has never, if you think back in the history of the Bible, the devil never killed it. The devil never killed anybody. The devil never killed anyone in the Bible. But the things I'm speaking about now are things I never thought about until after I left the organization. And that's when I started to think about things like that. That's when I started to think, man, this stuff is kind of crazy. I mean, even if you read the story of Samson, if you really read the story of Samson, Samson was a psychotic maniac that went around chopping off dick foreskin and collecting it like it was money. He would literally go around and chop off the foreskin of people who he had killed in battle and saved it and was trying to use it like money. Like, how much of those Doritos? That's gonna be 10 dick foreskins. That's gonna be 10 circumcisions from a penis of a man you just killed. Go read the story of Samson. Samson was a sex-crazed, murdering maniac that had God's backing. There are a lot of stories in the Bible that you're like, really, really, God, you co-signing this? Oh my God. There are a lot of things I learned after I left because you can read the Bible. Chloe Banks says, is this true? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you think I'm going to lie to you, Cleo Banks? I would never lie to you. It's totally true. MKT says, good night, guys. Stay woke. Oh, this is completely true. You know what? Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Now, Cleo Banks, what exactly are you asking if it's true or not? Seventh Heaven says, I love the way you tell the Bible stories. Dude, they are so crazy. They are so crazy. How many of you that are listening right now, hold on. Willow B says, but we all suffering so God can prove his sovereignty. It was explained that if God killed Satan, then we would question him. I'm questioning him more now that he didn't get rid of Satan. We're suffering. Okay. Cleo Banks, tell me exactly what you were asking, if it's true or not. Willow B, here's my question. Here's my rebuttal to that statement because I've heard it so many times before. If any of us have children, right? Let's say we have let's say we have a child living in our house, a child that we created. And that child starts to say, this is my house. I don't have to listen to you anymore. Right? Do we have to prove ourselves to anyone else about that child? Or do we already know that the child doesn't know what the hell it's talking about? What's the first thing? If your child starts to challenge you in your house, are you going to say, okay, I'm going to let you stay in here so I can prove to you that everything you're saying is wrong? No. 9 times out of 10, especially if that child is an adult, you're going to say, oh, okay, well, here's what you do. You can just get the hell out of here. Right? No adult feels the need to prove themselves to a child that they created. So why would the God that created everything, including the creature that just challenged him, feel the need to prove himself to something that he created? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I've created my daughter, and if I tell her something and she don't listen, I just say, okay. I just know eventually she's gonna see that what I'm saying is right. But I don't feel a need to prove myself to her. I created you. I'm not going to prove myself to you. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. No. Oh, yeah, the Samson story is much more than you think, man. So, listen to this, guys. Listen to this, Cleo. This is for you. This is for you, Cleo Banks. This is part of the story of Samson. This is 1 Samuel 18:27. I'll read a verse. I'll just maybe read a paragraph. David took. Let's see. Hold on. Which version do we need? King James. Let's see. Hold on, let me find it. Dang it, I lost my place. Shoot. I'll find it here in a second. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, shoot. Damn it. I'll find it here in a second. Let me read the chat. What's up, my mango bango? Willow B says, but that's what we have been told regarding Adam and Eve. What do you mean? What's up, Andrew D? What's going on? Yeah, they used to use foreskin for money. Like Samuel 18:27, David took his men with him and went out and killed 200 Philistines and brought back their foreskins. They counted out the full number to the king so that David might become the king's son-in-law. Then Saul gave him his daughter Micah in marriage. So she just cost 200 dick skins. So I guess her dad said, well, I tell you what, if you go out there and bring me back 200 dick skins, you can have my daughter. You can give her your dick skin. So you're basically telling me that your daughter, your daughter's vagina is worth 200 times the dick skins that I have? And her dad said, yeah, if you want this pussy, you need to go cut off 200 dick skins. And don't just cut off the dick skins. You got to kill them too, because I don't want to see they dick skinless ass running around here. So you make sure you kill them, take their dick skins, bring them back, and then I'll let you give my daughter your one dick skin. That was Samuel 18:27. Oh. Hold on. Let me see this other one. Yeah, see, Samson kills, let's see, how many people does Samson kill? He kills like a skillion Philistines with a jawbone, right? And then he kills like 1,000 Pharisees with the jawbone of an ass. And then literally, Samson now, firstly, he takes a jawbone of an ass. He took an ass's jawbone. I didn't even, a donkey's jawbone. He killed 1,000 men with this jawbone of an ass. Okay, now I want you guys to think about how long it would take to take the clothes off of 10 people. Just 10. Okay. Samson's ignorant ass killed 1,000. 1,000. Now, I want you to think about this. He then proceeded to cut the dick skin off of 1,000 men and saved it and went back to wherever he was. Come on now. Excuse me. Come on now. Do you know how long it would take to cut the dick skin off of 100 men? I mean, damn, how long would it take to cut the dick skin off of one dude when you're not in a hospital? I mean, unless you just cut the whole tip off. But no, it didn't say that it had like the head in the foreskin. It was just the foreskin. So Samson's gay ass pulled out 1,000 men's dicks and took the time to properly and lovingly and carefully cut the dick skin off of 1,000 men. And he put it on some string and wrapped it around his neck and took it back to use that shit for money. I didn't know dick skin was even, until I read it in the Bible. Dick skin is worth a lot of money. I think it's like gold. I think it's like platinum, gold, silver, frankincense, and then dick skin. I think dick skin is like a $5 bill. Dick skin is like a $5 bill. Somebody says, "Where are you reading this? The Bible?" Well, you think I'm just making this up? You think I can make this shit up? Do you think I am good enough to make up shit better than the Bible? The Bible has some amazing ignorant ass shit in it. The Bible is fucking amazing. You think I'm sick? This is the Bible I'm reading from. This is, what's the verse? I think that's Samuel. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find that. We can just go ahead and find the verse. Cause y'all think this dude think I'm in here making this shit up. I am not making this up, man. Samson was a raving dick skin maniac. All right. He said, "No, I want to read this to my wife." What makes you think your wife was? Well, how you gonna introduce that conversation? Hey, honey, let me read something to you. You ready? You might want to sit down for this. Actually, you might want to pull out your vibrator. Oh man. Miss Bailey 2 says, "Read my comment at 10:37 a.m. I saw a Kim and Mikey video that points out Psalms 83:18 says Jah is the God of the earth, whereas other scriptures say Satan is the God of the universe." There are a lot of different theories about Satan. Of course, there are, Satan and Lucifer are supposedly not the same thing. According to a lot of history, the being that actually tricked Eve was not a snake. It was a man. That was Lucifer. Satan, on the other hand, is the spiritual being that was in heaven. That still is in heaven. Most people think, according to the Bible, that Satan was kicked out of heaven, but Satan was never kicked out of heaven. Satan is in heaven. Satan was never kicked out of heaven. I would challenge anyone to show me the Bible verse that says or that shows where or when Satan was kicked out of heaven. Most people think that's what it says, but that's not what it says. Satan was never kicked out of heaven, according to the Bible. And snakes don't talk. So the thing that convinced Eve to eat the apple was not a snake, it was a man. Michelle M says, "K-Fist, can you tell us again what scripture that's in? I need to read it." Y'all are really interested about Samson cutting off the dick tips. Is this like 50 Shades of Grey? Miss Bailey 2, tell me the chapter and verse where it says that Satan was kicked out of heaven. I would really like to see that. Show me the chapter and verse. HB718BX, are you a robot? I am model HB718BX. Bro, you brung it up. No, think about it. If yeah, okay, but guys, think about this. Okay, tell me this. When was Satan kicked out of heaven? Tell me when he was kicked out of heaven. Now, notice I said kicked out. Like you can't come back. If you kick somebody out, it's like they're making it seem like he was kicked out of heaven. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Samson was screwing prostitutes and everything. This dude had God's backing. Judges 16:1-20. Samson went to Gaza, and there he saw a prostitute, and he went into her. Hold on. Yeah, Samson was crazy, man. He was a maniac. Let me see what's going on in the chat. All right, hold on. Let's see. Miss Bailey 2 says Revelation 12:9 verses 7-9. Let's see what that says. Seven through 9. Let me look at the chat. Hold on. Cleo Banks said, "How did I miss all this when I read my book of Bible stories every night?" goodness. Oh man. Um, what is so hard to comprehend? Hold on. Revelation 12:7 and 9 says, now here's the question. Is Revelation talking about what happens at the end or what has already happened? Revelation is supposed to be talking about what happens at the end times, right? Not what has happened in the past. According to the Bible, Revelation is talking about the end times, right? Is that true, Miss Bailey, too? Isn't Revelation a prophecy about what happens at the end times, not what happened already? Revelation is a prophecy, right? Revelation is not a story about something that happened in the past. Revelation is a prophecy about what's supposed to happen at the end of time. Revelation is not about what has happened in the past or in the beginning or earlier in life. Revelation is supposedly a prophecy about what's going to happen at the end times, the revelation of everything happening at the end. That's why it's called Revelation. It's the end time, right? It's not about what happened before. Is that right? Am I wrong? Am I incorrect? Am I incorrect? Somebody help me out. Let me know if I'm wrong. Somebody help me out. Okay, so the thing with Samson is Judges 15:15 through 7. I'm sorry, 15 through 17. So let's okay, so look, let's just check out what Samson did. You can get back with me on that question, Miss Bailey, too. Okay, so here goes. Here goes what happened with Samson. Here we go. Now check this out, guys. It's time for a story. It is time for a story. So let's talk about Samson's ignorant ass. I'm going to go ahead and read this, right? Here we go. Let's see. Y'all want me to read the whole thing? Or do you just want to read the good part? Let me see. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Let me get back to that. Wait a minute. Let's see what that says. Let's see. Later on, at the time of wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife. He said, "I'm going to my wife's room." But her father, this is the NIV. Hold on. Let's find a King James. Hold on. Goodness gracious, this is the hardest verse to find ever. Let's see. It is to this event the chorus lose the drum ass smoke Philistine so ruthlessly that 1,000 foreskins fell. Anyway, I'm gonna get this to you guys in a second. But he literally killed like 1,000 men. He went crazy and killed all these men. Okay, Miss Bailey, I'm scroll up. That's not true because a lot of prophecy takes place with the creation of the church. But that's not what I asked you. I asked you is Revelation not a prophecy about the end times? It's not about. I mean, Revelation is about the end times, right? Is Revelation not about the end times? That's my question. That's talking about what has happened. Because if was God not, if here's the thing, if Satan was kicked out of heaven after he kicked out of heaven after he made Adam and Eve eat the apple? Here's my question. Was Satan kicked out after he made Adam and Eve eat the apple? My Mango Bango says, why would the creator of the universe be worrying about whether you have a nice trip and not about children dying from hunger disease? HP718BX says, how if he was never in heaven? Satan, according to the Bible, was one of God's first creations, and he was literally the most beautiful angel ever created. Lucifer, Satan, was the morning star. He was supposedly, according to the Bible, so beautiful. Yeah. And exactly, Miss Bailey, it is about the end times. So, because as we see, after he convinced Adam and Eve to eat the fruit, the story of Job comes way later. Right. So if he was kicked out of heaven, he wouldn't be able to just go back and forth whenever he wanted to. That's the thing. He walked up inside God's meeting with everybody else, and God just turned around and was like, where you been? And Satan was like, I've been walking around the earth and chilling and stuff. And then if he had been kicked out of heaven, him and God wouldn't have been able to sit down and make this bet over this man's life. So obviously he wasn't kicked out of heaven. HP718BX says, so K Fitz, how do you feel about God? I've said it before. I think you came a little bit late. I don't believe that the God of the Bible is who the creator actually is. I think the Bible is a story that has some great points in it. There are some things about it that I agree with, and there are a lot of things about it that I do not agree with. But I don't believe that the creator and the God of the Bible are the same being. I do pray to the universe and God because I believe they're all a part of me. Alicia Safer says J.W. Fairytale Bible book says he was kicked out after Jesus was resurrected. Willow B says your voice when you say it sounds like a robot. It sounds like HB718BX. What does that name mean? I am the new model of stuff that does things. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. HB718BX. I am the stuff that has instructions on how to do things and stuff. How do you feel about the Quran? Honestly, I feel they're all offshoots of the same stories of African origin. If you look back at almost all of those stories, they all can be traced back to an African point of conception. They are all basically offshoots of things that I feel were invented in one way or another to cause people to have to be controlled. As someone said in the chat earlier, I think religion was made to make us forget the greatness that is within our own bodies and to cause us to look outside of ourselves for the answers when the answers are inside of ourselves. So when we pray to the creator or whatever being, we are talking to the creator and the creative being inside us. We're speaking to our higher selves. Great, Dan. I love that comment. I think that's the great thing about this chat because you and I have had some really cool conversations, but I don't think either of us have ever thought of either of us to be or negative in a negative way. I don't think any of our conversations have been negative. I respect you a great deal, Great Dane, and I think we can debate, and at the end of the day, it'd be okay. So I really appreciate having people with different views here. Yeah. All right, guys. So we have been on for 2.5 hours. I think I am going to shut it down, as Chef Ramsay says, if no one else is going to call in. But I'm going to give you guys the skinny on what tomorrow's show is, and I think this is going to be a hot one. This is going to be a controversial one. All right? Let me know what you think, guys. I think this is going to be hot because I know some of you in the chat are still Christian or are Christian. Some of us are not. Some of us know the Bible very well. Some of us do not. Here is the topic for tomorrow. Can you be a true Christian and agree with homosexuality? Can you be a true Christian and at the same time agree with homosexuality? I think that's going to be a good topic. A good topic. We will talk about that one tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Central. Don't answer now. This is a call in. This is a call in. We gotta call in and talk about this now. If you're gonna be, I'm gonna be brave enough to post this show and talk about it. So yo guys gotta don't leave me out in the water drowning. You gotta have my back now. This is a good one. Can you be a true Christian and agree and or tolerate homosexuality? So that will be tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Guys, the shows have been really, really good. So many people. It's been a great show as usual. So I will see you all tomorrow. Guys, look that up. Y'all think I'm playing. Samson was a maniac. So tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, we will have this show. I need you guys to call in because I think it's going to be some hot fire tomorrow. All right? Great Dan says you've been really, really good. You too, Great Dan. I really enjoy talking with you. HP718BX says, do you believe the earth is flat? I believe it could be. I've never seen it in totality. It could be. It could be round. It could be a pyramid. It could be a square. It could be a rhombus. For all I know. It could be a damn hula hoop with a damn foreskin in the middle, for all I know. Yes, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central. I will post it again as usual. Tomorrow's show is gonna be hot fire, guys. So, I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central. Thank you all so much for being in the show, calling in. I think it's with it being so regular now. It's really making the show so much more fun. And so I appreciate you guys so much for coming through and making everything so interesting and talking about everything. All right. So guys, yes, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for coming in, and I will see you all tomorrow on the K Fits My Life show. Peace.